probably the most difficult part is that now that we have final reports on many of the action items, the question is what happens next. And there's still a tremendous amount of work that has to be done by the OECD, for example, on PE, on what's the punchline on profit attribution, to profit splits and other transfer pricing items. We still don't have any guidance on transfer pricing of related party loans. So there's still a tremendous amount of work out there for the OECD to finish. At the same time, countries are beginning to implement pieces of BEPS. And so I think the challenges for the clients are really focusing on jurisdiction by jurisdiction implementation. And it's like a tsunami of information flowing. So it really is difficult, I think, at this point for companies to have a full grasp of what BEPS means for them on a day-to-day basis.
And it's difficult to answer that question because every single client is different. Clients operating in different economic business areas, clients operating in different markets, and of course clients with different tax behavior need different level of work to be adapted to BEPS. So for those clients who have been much aggressive, there's a lot to do. Whereas for others, they are almost ready for BEPS.
Well, first and foremost, C/C starts next year. So companies should begin pulling together teams to figure out how to pull the data together so that they can conduct their first C/C. Also, there may be some optically unattractive facts that come out in the C/C, so this is the opportunity to begin planning to eliminate certain structures that may create problems for C/C. Second, companies should be diligent in following developments in their jurisdiction. For example, the European Union is moving forward with various packages on BEPS. And so for a company that does business in the EU, they really need to follow what this means for them, whether it's public C/C, various rules on hybrid loans, etc. They need to follow in those jurisdictions. So that's a very important factor. Companies also need to socialize and get a better understanding of what type of risk they're willing to undertake going forward. I think the climate is changing on stateless income and income that's in low tax jurisdictions. Each company needs to understand the risk and the reward involved in the new brave world of BEPS. And so that means working with the board of directors, working with senior leadership in a company to make sure that they understand how the climate has shifted. And I think it's been easier with state aid investigations, US Senate, Australian government's hearings, Madam Hodges' hearings in the UK, to understand what those risks are for consumer reputation, etc. But I think those are really important issues that have to be surfaced in a company early and often.
As I said before, it depends very much on every type of client. Some clients would need substantial amount of work. They would need to reorganize, they would need to re-domicile some entities, they would need to redefine their transfer pricing policy, even to move some employees, to reallocate functions and risks in order to properly align their value creation with the allocation of taxable bases into jurisdictions. Some of the clients, almost everything has already been done, but just because they were never that inclined to use international tax structures to erode bases from one jurisdiction to another.